Mr. Trenchard, you will please recollect you are addressing my daughter, and in my presence. Yes, I'm offering her my heart and hand, just as she wants them, with nothing in them. Augusta, dear, to your room. I guess I know enough to turn you inside out, old man. You psychologizing old man.
Well, we've all seen this scene a few times, haven't we? One of the days in American history that will truly live on in infamy. And I'm sure you know how we've got here. I'm sure you've all heard the story of the great Abraham Lincoln and how he freed the slaves and saved the Union. But just who is that man with that fateful gun? Oh, I know I shouldn't mythologize a killer, but we all have a bit of an itch for true crime, don't we? Morbid curiosity, I call it, don't you? And if you'll indulge me, I'd like to tell you a little story. A story about a boy named Johnny.
Good day. It is I, John Wilkes Booth's exceptionally long-lived twin brother. I beseech thee, pray do not continue to watch this video, for it is replete with the foolhardiness and misplaced sense of heroism with which my brother brought untold calamity upon the whole of this great nation, and a shame upon my family that would prove indelible across generations. If pity you can feel for a burdened soul, look away. If it is scandal and mystery you seek, lo, cast your eyes upon today's sponsor, Magellan TV. Their true crime catalog is a veritable trove of all that which titillates. Murders most foul of wives and sons and mothers, violations of all sorts of virtues we take for granted. There's 5 seasons of murder maps to paint a picture of London's darkest corners. Lady killers, the most vile female serial killers from across history, including Lady Bathory herself. There is an unexpectedly captivating account of the electric chair's invention and controversy. This one's about Jonestown, and look, this one has William Shatner. My time is short. I leave you this link in the description. It is free, I tell you, all free, for 30 days and $7 a month thereafter. You can indulge your savage cravings and forget all about John Wilkes Booth's terrible, terrible deeds. Oh dear.
Johnny Booth. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 26. But like most of us, he came into the world in the usual way. He was the 9th of 10 children, born in a log home May 10th, 1838. The Booths were a special kind of family, you see. The acclaimed Shakespearean actor, Mr. Junius Brutus Booth. I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but, well, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Junius Sr., though I balk at challenging his talent, was a notorious rabble-rouser. One story has it he crawled up a ladder and crowed like a rooster in the middle of Hamlet, leaving poor Ophelia all alone on stage. He even threatened to kill President Jackson. Then there was Junius Jr., an actor just like his father. So was Edwin, the great pride and joy of the Booth family. And then, of course, young Johnny.
If we shadows have offended, think but this and all is mended. Give me.
John Wilkes, I got something to tell you. Don't follow your dreams.
Oh, Papa, one day I'll make history. I just know it.
You know how many people in this country can actually support a family just by acting? Would you bet everything on green at the roulette wheel? Why don't you be a dentist or something?
But Edwin and Junius are gonna perform.
That's called hedging your bets, son. But I want you to settle. It's for the best. All aboard! Last call for San Francisco! Dad, come on! Right behind you, boy! Woo-wee! Fame and fortune, here we come. Neque poro quisquam est qui dolorem ipsum, quia dolor sit amet, con sectetur adipiscig velit. Now, who can tell me what Cicero means when he talks about pain and pleasure? Booth? Booth! Mr. Booth, perhaps you can tell me why Cicero has been good enough to study for the last 1800 years, but you seem perfectly content not knowing a goddamn thing about him. Are you special, Mr. Booth?
Sorry. I thought you said both.
Boy, he really chewed you out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Think you can get him on another tirade tomorrow? Anything's better than Cicero.
I'll see what I can do.
You're all right, Booth. Why don't you come along with me and the fellas tomorrow?
Wait, so why do you call it the Native American Party anyway?
To keep the Irish out. America belongs to the Native Americans. You know, the English. And Scottish.
Wow. You're like so informed. I've always hated people that are different from me too. Yeah. Especially those dirty.
Next. That's you, Booth. Hello, young man.
Hello, old woman.
All right, let's do this. Let me see him. Oh.
What do you see?
I see a star, bright and beautiful. The whole country will have its eyes on you. But beware, the star that burns twice as bright burns half as long. Someday soon, you will meet a terrible end.
I've got a date with destiny!
The wise woman's words would stick with him his entire life. No one would ever dramatize the life of John Wilkes Booth more than John Wilkes Booth. But then again, what else can you expect from an actor? That's right, his brother-in-law gave him his start on the stage, and while critics said he had the potential to bring to life a great tragedy, he still had a long way to go. But John Wilkes' fans saw something else in him, the same athletic, charming, handsome man he'd been in school.
Madam, I am Petruchio Pandolfo.
Madam, I am Pandolfo Petruchio, Peddleton, darn it? Who am I? Since our own names are too apparent, learn her own then. She is a wanton.
He was the handsomest man in America. Fair ladies from across these United States would write to him every day in hopes he might return their affections. He even performed for President Lincoln.
Mr. Lincoln, he looks as if he meant that for you. He does look pretty sharp at me, doesn't he?
Nobody expected then that when the Civil War broke out in 1861, the public darling John Wilkes Booth would be so outspoken in his admiration of the South. Local citizens insisted that Booth be banned from the stage for his treasonous remarks, but John only became more and more radical.
Well, war carries sacrifice for all, but I mean, for heaven's sake, you talk about the president as if he were King George. You must forgive me, but I see no crown.
Caesar didn't need a crown either.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Bottom fact is, it was Lincoln's government trying to lock me up for speaking my mind in St. Louis, and it's Lincoln's government making sure the wives and daughters of Dixie are dying from malaria, while we're sitting here on the cure by the thousands!
Friends, maybe we should table this.
I've seen what's become of New Orleans. The roads are ravaged for miles all around. There are 15,000 Yankees left behind to overrun the city with all means of violence. Families are ripped from their homes, and worst of all, I have seen ladies compelled to tip their hats to black soldiery.
Sergeant, I apologize for his... No need, Davy. I find it funny. Funny how a man who talks of such strong convictions can be too great a coward to ever hold a rifle. But then again, this plug ugly'd lose his head as soon as lead started flying.
Johnny Booth felt a terrible shame, sitting on the sidelines as the war dragged on. It gnawed and gnawed at him until he could no longer take to the stage. He wrote to his mother to say, "I have deemed myself a coward and learned to despise my existence." But then he and his family weren't exactly seeing eye to eye.
We're from the Union! 90% of your career was in the North. Why are you so pro-South?
Because I'm those roads are ravaged for miles and 50,000 Yankees all in Georgia.
Don't come home, John. Booth! There you are. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm staying at a hotel. The theater's taking my mail. Hey, you want to kidnap the president?
This guy. I mean, I'd do it. That actually sounds like a good idea. Well, shoot, I guess I'm in too.
The plan looked a little something like this. The boys would strike when President Lincoln was visiting a nearby hospital. But fate would play a mean trick on them. The president changed his plans at the last minute and instead went to the very hotel where John Wilkes Booth was staying. And not too long after, the Confederacy surrendered.
Should we just kill him?
Let's just kill him, yeah. Booth! Gosh, you look like you haven't slept. Hey, an offer came in for you. Holiday Street in Baltimore is putting on...
Enough! I am finished with the stage. Henceforth, the only play I shall perform is Venice Preserved.
What Mr. Booth was referencing here was a 1682 stage play about an assassination. A reference that would go right over the heads of his associates until it was too late. I did warn you the boy had a flair for the dramatic.
Actually, I think I may have needed one of those.
Did you hear Mr. Lincoln would be coming to the show tonight?
Why didn't you start with that?
Which brings us back again to this terrible moment.
Sic Semper Tyrannis! Sic Semper Tyrannis! Harold, get up. Wake up! We gotta hot-foot it out of here.
Those dogs.
Try the back.
Surrender yourselves willingly and you will face a fair trial. We'd better give up.
No! I've already picked out my final words.
Suit yourself. And Booth, still inside. So be it.
Ha! You've done well to find me, Lieutenant. Very well. On your honor, I challenge you to a duel. Set your men 100 yards off, and we shall settle this like gentlemen. 50 yards? Very well. I accept your challenge. One more stain on the old banner. Not a bad line, huh? Wait, I've got another.
The rest of the country mourned. For Lincoln, of course. But what's done was done. The transfer of power continued unimpeded. The South remained occupied. And slavery, which Booth had proclaimed as God's greatest blessing, was handed its death warrant that very year. This alone was the grand sum of Booth's self-appointed cosmic destiny. Asphyxiation outside a cold Virginia barn on the 26th of April, 1865.
And scene.